Kithure Kindiki's big win in Mbeere North is about to change Kenya's political landscape completely. When we released our analysis challenging the Star newspaper projection of Kenya's 2027 presidential race as a near-tie contest between President William Ruto and the United Opposition, we expected debate, and we got plenty of it. The comments section erupted, some thoughtful, many emotional, others simply unwilling to look the numbers in the eye, while others outright dismissive of hard data. But numbers have a way of vindicating those who respect them. Today, the by-elections have spoken. 7 parliamentary seats were up for grabs across Kenya. All 7 were won decisively by the broad-based UDA-ODM political juggernaut behind President William Ruto. And the biggest political earthquake? The loudest shockwave? The most consequential outcome of all? Kasongo and Mr. Soprano, Kithure Kindiki, won in Mbeere North, a constituency that the Star and many analysts had casually lumped into the solid opposition stronghold column. The results are on the IEBC portal, not on Twitter, not on TikTok, and not in emotionally charged comment threads. Please watch our last video. 2027 Epic Race. Ruto's real numbers against Kalonzo, Gachagua, linked in the description and the end screen to understand the full context. Our rewritten electoral map of Kenya was accurate. Our reclassification of the Mount Kenya East as a battleground region rather than opposition stronghold was right. And the projection that Ruto begins 2027 with a 57% versus 43% advantage, about 3 million more solid voters, now deserves very serious national attention. The by-elections outcome has vindicated our analysis. Kenya remains a country where a loud, hyperactive social media minority often drowns out the quiet but decisive majority that shows up at the polling station. For months, everything President William Ruto achieved was mocked. Every poll that hinted at UDA strength in Mbeere North was dismissed. Any analyst trying to present a balanced picture was branded pro-government, state-sponsored, or NIS project. But the ground cannot be intimidated. The ballot box has no respect for hashtags, and the by-elections have exposed the difference between digital theater and electoral reality. Ironically, the loudest champion of Sikiza ground, Rigathi Gachagua's Democracy for the Citizens Party DCP, has been the one least in touch with the mood on the ground across Kenya. With the dust settling, however, Kenya's political landscape will begin to shift in the following 5 earth-shaking ways after the by-elections. Before we dive in, if you value factual, data-driven Kenyan political analysis, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to Kenya 2027 Watch. It helps this channel push back against misinformation and keep Kenya's political conversation grounded in numbers, not noise. Number 1. The Gikuyu, Embu, and Meru Association, GEMA, has reached the end of the road. GEMA is standing on the edge of a cliff, and the next political decision will determine whether it lives or dies violently under the weight of its own contradictions and hypocrisy. No more illusions, no more diplomacy, no more polite speeches about unity. For half a century, the Gikuyu, Embu, and Meru marched together under one banner. For 50 years, the Gikuyu community monopolized GEMA leadership, not by negotiation, but by dominance. And for 50 years, Embu and Meru absorbed the humiliation quietly. They delivered votes. They stood with Jomo Kenyatta. They stood with Mwai Kibaki. They stood with Uhuru Kenyatta. They played second-class citizens in an alliance that rarely gave them anything back. They stayed loyal even when the rewards never came. They held their end of the bargain even as Gikuyu counties sprinted ahead in wealth, power, and development, while Embu and Meru were left to scrape for leftovers. For those who wish to take a glimpse on the development disparity that exists between Mount Kenya East and neighboring Gikuyu counties of Nyeri and Kirinyaga, a video titled Kenya 2027, why Mat Kenya East will dump GEMA unity for Kindiki is linked in the description and end screen. Embu and Meru counties fell behind in roads, hospitals, water, and industry, while neighboring Gikuyu counties surged ahead. But now, for the first time since the birth of GEMA, the highest-ranking GEMA figure in government is not Gikuyu. He is Meru, Professor Kithure Kindiki, a man with legitimacy, a national mandate, a clear succession path. And suddenly, sections of the Gikuyu political elite are pretending to be confused. Some are hesitating, calculating, plotting alternatives, pretending not to see what this moment means. But Embu and Meru see everything clearly. Let's be blunt, and let's call this what it is. If GEMA abandons Kindiki now, it will be the most shameless act of political betrayal in modern Kenyan history. Embu and Meru will not walk away quietly. They will walk away furious, unapologetic, and permanently. They will not look back. If that door closes, it closes forever. And when they leave, GEMA doesn't weaken. GEMA ceases to exist, dead on arrival, collapsed under the arrogance and greed of a community that demanded loyalty for 50 years but refused to honor it even once. This is GEMA's last stand. Either unite behind Kindiki, or watch the union fracture violently, permanently, and irreversibly. A betrayal will rip out the core of the alliance, fracture trust beyond repair, and end 5 decades of political cohesion in one stroke. Because a GEMA that abandons Kindiki is no longer a family. It is a lie collapsing under the weight of its own historical contradictions, greed, and hypocrisy. And make no mistake, the blame will sit squarely with the Gikuyu political class, because the betrayal will be theirs and the collapse will be their legacy. This is not a warning. This is an autopsy report written in advance. Either GEMA follows Kindiki now, or GEMA destroys itself, publicly, permanently, and deservedly. One wrong move, and GEMA doesn't just break, it explodes. Hit the thumbs up if this analysis makes any sense to you. And let me know in the comments who is to blame if GEMA collapses due to greed and hypocrisy. Number 2. The writing of Rigathi Gachagua's political obituary. Across Mount Kenya is about to begin. The by-elections confirm what serious analysts have quietly known. Rigathi Gachagua's influence in Mount Kenya was always exaggerated, always hyped, and always inflated by fear, not loyalty. He was never the preferred running mate in 2022. His position as deputy president brought nothing to improve the situation of coffee, tea, and dairy farmers in the mountain. The small business owners cried for being raided by KRA officials. Licensed and legitimate bar owners saw their businesses closed and thousands of workers rendered jobless. Mount Kenya youth cried for being branded Mungiki and constantly harassed. Their political gatherings outlawed and leaders arrested. Gachagua openly bragged about reporting to the office early to deal with street protesters. Opposition gatherings were brutally dispersed. Opposition supporters were brutalized during street demonstrations, and opposition leaders were directly targeted for assassination. The Kenyatta family Northlands farm was raided by Gachagua-sponsored goons who stole over 1,500 pedigree sheep, burning and destroying property worth millions. Gachagua's impeachment did not shock Mount Kenya leaders. They engineered it. His brief resurrection after impeachment was sustained by two things: a well-crafted false narrative of Mount Kenya marginalization in the Ruto government, and intimidation of leaders who feared his political blackmail machine. But Mbeere North has broken the spell. Kindiki's win means leaders no longer need to whisper their frustrations about extortion at Wamunyoro or Gachagua's tribal essentialism. The political class can clearly see what voters have declared. Rigathi Gachagua's hold on Mount Kenya is not iron, it is clay, and it is finally cracked. Expect defections, expect rebellion, expect a full political realignment across Kiambu, Murang'a, Nyeri, Kirinyaga, Laikipia, Nakuru, Embu, Meru, and Tharaka Nithi, because the fear barrier is gone. The knives will now come out openly. Serious aspirants will reevaluate their options, and UDA will once again become the natural home for many. Gachagua's brutal era is ending, loudly, publicly, and mathematically. Tap the thumbs up button and tell us in the comments, is this the end of Rigathi Gachagua's political era? Your insights matter for the next episodes of Kenya 2027 Watch. Number 3. Mbeere North has not just saved Kindiki, it has anointed him. ODM is a ruthlessly pragmatic party that has fought for an egalitarian society, a society that promotes the social, economic, and political equality of all Kenyans, free from tyranny and social hierarchies based on status and ethnicity. The numbers are clear, and ODM will not want to remove Kindiki. A Ruto Kindiki 2027 ticket will maximize Mount Kenya East, deliver a stable national coalition, and preserve ODM's leverage in a post-2027 arrangement. By elevating Kindiki, the voters have eliminated the last doubts. He is the 2027 deputy president candidate and the early frontrunner for president in 2032. Mount Kenya East will now consolidate behind Ruto more solidly than what we saw in this by-election. Tell us what you think. Is Kindiki now the undeniable 2027 DP candidate for President Ruto? Let's hear your take in the comments. Number 4. This is the story very few analysts are discussing, but it is arguably the most consequential for the opposition. Kalonzo Musyoka has tied his fortunes to Rigathi Gachagua at the exact moment Gachagua's political influence is collapsing. Without an assured, solid Mount Kenya bloc, Gachagua offers Kalonzo nothing, electoral nothing, strategic nothing, negotiating nothing. Kalonzo's biggest strategic error was distancing himself from Raila Odinga and ODM during Gachagua's impeachment, only to later embrace Gachagua's GEMA Kamba fantasy. This moved Kalonzo ideologically away from ODM, while also locking him into a coalition with a noisy and divisive Gachagua who cannot deliver the numbers right now. With GEMA now expanded to include the Akamba, Kalonzo no longer fits comfortably in ODM's egalitarian tradition. He also cannot overpower UDA's traction in Ukambani. Ruto has been systematically winning over Kamba grassroots with water projects, road expansions, and targeted economic interventions. Kalonzo's margins are shrinking. His maneuvering space is evaporating. He is entering the most precarious phase of his political life. We suggested a couple of months ago that Kalonzo's best move was to join Ruto and negotiate to be running mate and deputy president in 2027. Today, even that option is gone. The Ruto Kindiki ticket is sealed, and the Ukambani region will slowly but surely tilt toward Ruto's development-focused agenda. Kalonzo's margin of maneuver has narrowed dramatically. Hit the thumbs up and tell us in the comments, has Kalonzo boxed himself into a corner politically? Let's discuss. Number 5. Fred Matiang'i's camp may celebrate the Abagusi ward by-election victories, but the national implications are grim. Matiang'i's strategic political miscalculation was catastrophic, joining Jubilee instead of ODM. Jubilee was designed as a Mount Kenya comeback outfit, not a national alternative to ODM or UDA. With UDA's sweeping victory in Mbeere North, Jubilee's viability as the real alternative to Gachagua's DCP in the Mount Kenya region will collapse even faster. The expected Matiang'i-Natembeya alliance has collapsed even before takeoff. Seth Panyako, seen crying openly in defeat in Malava, embodies Natembeya's deflated strategy across the entire western region. Even worse, the constant clashes between Matiang'i supporters and ODM loyalists in Kisii and Nyamira are destroying his national likability across the ODM base. Had Matiang'i joined ODM with Jubilee's Uhuru Kenyatta backing, he would be Raila's natural successor and the strongest national challenger to Ruto today. That opportunity is now gone. When Raila was alive, it was easier to engage ODM directly through him. Now that Raila is no more and ODM hasn't made a formal decision on who they will support in 2027, someone like Matiang'i could use influential top ODM insiders like Simba Arati to help win over ODM support. Instead, Matiang'i has now shrunk into a regional champion, viciously fighting the very friendly ODM in his ethnic Abagusii backyard. The ODM at 20 celebrations at Gusii Stadium could not even be attended by Raila himself, due to unnecessary and unprovoked violence from Matiang'i supporters. Ruto has done everything to endear himself to influential ODM honchos like John Mbadi, Opiyo Wandayi, Hassan Joho, Wycliffe Oparanya, Gladys Wanga, Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir, and Oburu Odinga. And he does not miss out on opportunities to interact directly with the ODM rank and file on important party events like the ODM at 20 celebrations in Mombasa. If the presidential election goes to a runoff, as is highly likely, Matiang'i may face a brutal backlash from ODM's national base. Ruto is already quietly preparing for a runoff scenario by building goodwill among Kamba, Abagusii, and other communities that may not vote for him in round 1 but may be decisive in round 2. If Matiang'i ends up on the ballot, he risks intense rejection from ODM's national machinery, potentially wiping out his second-round chances entirely. Tap the thumbs up and drop a comment. Did Matiang'i make his biggest strategic error by joining Jubilee Party instead of ODM? Your views will shape this channel's content immensely. The loud online narrative says one thing. The ballot box says something completely different. At Kenya 2027 Watch, we're committed to analyzing Kenyan politics as it is, not as some people wish it should be. The by-elections have confirmed the accuracy of our numbers, the validity of our 2027 electoral map, and the reality of Kenya's dynamic political landscape. The ground has spoken, the numbers have aligned, and the 2027 race has officially begun. If you found this analysis valuable, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to Kenya 2027 Watch. This channel is building Kenya's most factual, data-driven political repository, and your engagement ensures these insights reach the people who need them most. We're here on a serious mission to separate the facts from the propaganda.